Hi there. Welcome. This is The Flower of Freedom by Deborah J. Reeves. All rights to both the book and this presentation are reserved. This is chapter 105, and we're just happy that you came back to hear more of the story. This chapter is called Dreaming Big. Take your seat. Make yourself comfortable. As long as you've arrived with a good heart and good intentions, you're extremely welcome here. This is a place that we hope all people can have a meeting of minds. Here we go. Chapter 105, Dreaming Big. Marie started her classes at PSL, and she quickly made new friends. Suzette and Michaud came to school together that first day, and when he turned toward his own classes, Suzette walked in together with Marie. Bianca came up to them in their first class, and she sat right behind them in the first lecture. Bertie and Philippe were ensconced in their dorm room by then. Oscar and Colette had fussed to get everything ready. Finally, they went home, and Bertie could fill the small fridge with beer. Philippe sat on the bed on one side of the small room. He pulled out a bound drawing notebook, and he waved it under Bertie's nose. I propose to draw the most magnificent place for human dwelling in the entire world. Together, we can combine all that we learn and make it stable, clean, self-sufficient, and strong for urban dwellers of the future. Bertie looked at him and said, "Okay, Roger Ramjet, draw away. I'll share everything I learned in engineering, and you put in the computer science. Where'd you get this idea anyway?" Before I left Paris, Joseph and Michaud gave me this bound book. We went out before I left, and they said that they each had one, and that all four of us could combine the things we learn into one massive project for after we finished school. They'd been thinking about it for some time, and they were excited about what we could all accomplish together. They also gave one to Marie and Suzette, so that makes 6 books in total. Their idea is that a great building could be constructed based on the template of the human body. That's where the girls come in. He had Bertie's attention now. Didn't Joseph choose finance over physics? What could he possibly contribute? Philippe took a breath to gather his patience, and he said, "Bertie, Joseph will understand how to finance the thing. Nothing gets built without money. But you're not deluded enough to think that someone like Joseph, who's a genius in physics, will ever give up on that passion, are you? He has a room full of the most advanced research on physics and maybe every book that was ever published on the topic. I never saw him get not less than 99% on any paper in school, when most of us struggled to get over 80 in physics, even Marie. The guy simply just gets it, like he got the fact that standing in front of a class of people whose parents forced them to take physics would never be his thing. Even if he meant he could do his own experiments, he'll do them anyway. He just wants to work with numbers, things he can understand. Last time I saw him, he was absorbed in trying to understand Nicole." "You laugh, Bertie, but I'm starting to wonder if Nicole might not be the brightest one among us," Bertie guffawed in response to that. "I'm serious. If she can see Joseph's fundamental goodness when everyone else overlooks it or takes it for granted, she's smart. Not only that, she's always learning about people, and I cannot think of anything more complicated than people. Can you?" Bertie grumbled and then asked, "So, what's Michaud going to contribute?" "Bertie, you are starting to piss me off. Michaud? The guy's studying chemistry. Most of the advancements of this century are based on chemistry. He might be the linchpin of the entire building. What's wrong with you tonight? Michaud is already studying a new sort of skin for the building that he could probably make millions on with his own, and he's willing to throw it into the project. Maybe we should get serious about whether or not we can make any contribution worthy of the others. Michaud is also working on an invention that will purify the air and water in the building so that our dream of making it self-sufficient can come true. As an added bonus, he thinks he might be able to extract raw materials from the pollutants in the air and water that are needed by industry. This building might generate income by existing. Bertie looked at Philip as though his words had finally slapped some sense into him. Well, I've been reading about some of that futuristic stuff you've always shown to me, so I get the potential there, what there is from your end, but there's nothing new in structural engineering. Joseph tells me that you'll have to do a lot if we're thinking of building the tallest building, fully functioning building in the world. He's ready to help with his theoretical part, but he says that we will need your understanding of the practical issues that will make it stable and functional. He said that, Bertie said, feeling small and unworthy. Philippe nodded. And Nicole reminded us that we need to continuously keep our eyes open for good people with different skill sets to help us complete the projects. It will be far more key to find decent human beings who can get behind the project than to find prima donnas with personality disorders who come with stellar resumes. Nicole said that? How many stories do you expect this thing to be? We're working on the idea that it will be 100 stories high. 100 stories? Nothing's ever been built that tall. This is 1965, and that's a pipe dream. Most of us won't graduate for 4 years, and in Marie and Suzette's case, it will be 9. So think about what can happen in 10 more years. It's impossible right now, but no one ever attempted it with a team like we have. They might have had the outward skills, but they did not have the commitment to one another. No one has ever attempted it with the materials we will create. Michaud says that if the skin for this building can do what he thinks it can do, it could reduce the structural load on the skeleton by several factors. You make it sound so doable, Philippe, but even the ones that are under consideration are still not 100 stories high, and they are considered needles, not full-blown office blocks. I guess that we're wasting nothing if it doesn't work out. We're going to school anyway. We might be able to solve a few problems and patent a few inventions along the way. It will keep us busy when we're not overloaded with schoolwork. With the workload that my profs are threatening, I might not have to be able to make any contribution to the book until after I graduate. However, nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose. That's the end of chapter 105. The next one will not be the same if you're not here. The next one's chapter 106, first term.